is my presentation about the time period known as the Dark Ages. The Dark Ages occurred between 500 AD and 1500 AD and was also known as Middle Ages and Medieval times. But the question is, why were they called the Dark Ages? The word dark is synonymous with words like gloomy, horrible and unexciting, and this is precisely what they say was happening in Europe, the continent that today includes countries like Italy, Germany and England. Things were seen as not very nice in Europe because compared to time periods before and after, there was little progress or focus on science, literature, logic and philosophy. Instead, it was seen as a period of religion, superstition and death, particularly when the bubonic plague turned up. It seemed it sucked to be in Europe at the time. But what about the rest of the world? I hear you ask. Was it as dark as Europe? History, especially when written in English, is quite Eurocentric, meaning it centres on Europe and the Western world and doesn't take much notice of anything else. As it turns out, things weren't so gloomy in other parts of the world. The Abbasid Empire and China are prime examples of this. Things were pretty rad there. China's a pretty big country, and this can be attributed to the dynasties of the Middle Ages. During this time, they produced and traded epic amounts of iron, some of which helped boost agricultural technology. When iron was in short supply, they went and invented paper money. They were amazing at art and poetry. And do you know how China got its name? All the stunning porcelain they produced. They can also boast gunpowder and the Grand Canal, a man-made waterway of over 1,700 kilometres. The Abbasid Empire wasn't too shabby either. They were amazing scholars, very open-minded, believing religion and learning complemented each other, and conquered land from the Middle East to Spain. They were also phenomenal architects. History is a global concept. It's important to consider all areas. While there were dark times worldwide, it is misleading to call medieval time the Dark Ages, as exciting developments were occurring. Therefore, it's important to avoid a Eurocentric view of the world. A global view of medieval times is more interesting and insightful.